suppose I'd like to be on the front row of the grid, but, you know, 8th isn't too bad. I'm just working out now what I'm going to do on the first 2 corners, and because that's where the action's going to happen.
How does the car handle?
Very well. The problem is it doesn't handle so well when somebody hits you up the back.
Have you been hit up the back today then?
No, but I anticipate it because I've been watching the video of all the other races, and it seems to me that they just hit each other the whole way around the circuit.
Not on pole, Andy, but a good position on the outside at Brands.
Not bad. I haven't got the hill to go up, but, you know, we'll see what I can do.
How are you going to play the race ahead?
Well, we're going to take it, hoping if it goes to plan with the front 3, we'll just take it easy for the first 10 laps, see if we can pull away from everybody else. And then we'll have a storming 5-lap finish.
Can we expect any knocks and bumps?
Not from people like me, because I'm a gentleman, a nice guy of the series.
So how are you going to play the race then, Patrick?
I'm either going to follow or I'm going to be followed. I think the race won't change in the first few laps, but when it gets towards the end of the race, when the tyres start getting overheated, I think things might change then.
Round 10 of the championship then, with Taft in pole position, Watts in the middle of the front row and Ackley on the outside of the front row. Hall and Churchill on the second row and they're away, and a beautiful start for the middle of the front row. That was Pat Watts at his very, very best. But he didn't avail him very much. Into Paddock Bend for the first time. We're in car now, we're watching the fun, and it is fun too. Always very tight, but Pat Watts has got the advantage at the moment. Paul Taft slots in there into second place. Andy Ackley into third place. Watch Ackley here at Brandt. He knows this circuit oh so well. Out through Graham Hill Bend along the Cooper Straight there. And still a pretty tight bunch behind, but these are the 3 guys to watch. If they don't hold each other up too much, it could be fun. Dave Carvell well down there at number 29. He'd like to be further up than that. We're out now onto the Grand Prix circuit at France. It's not been used for a Grand Prix for a year or 2, but it's a beautiful circuit, a real driver's circuit. Still the man who won the championship last year, leading the man who wants to win the championship this year. And it's a pretty determined battle. And they're good foils for each other, these two. Andy Ackley still in third place. That was Westfield. We're now coming up towards Dingledale Corner, which they tried a straight line. You're absolutely blind to that when you come over the rise. And this is what's known as guarding your tail, because really Paul Taft would like to be up and through and past him, and Pat Watts is well aware of that, has no intention of it happening. So they're stringing out of it now. If they come out, whoops, somebody on the grass gets it back again. That bootlet doesn't look too secure. And up through clearways for the first time. Paul Taft looks, but that's all he does. Has a look at the inside. Pat Watts knows he's there, takes the optimum line, and there's a man under pressure. It's Andy Ackley. Tried to shut the door there, and we've got a brushing going on there, because on the inside of it, 26, Rob Hall wants that place. He's got that place. Rob Hall up to third, Ackley fourth. Well, Rob Hall making his bid for fame and fortune in among the very, very quick Hondas. They really are quick cars. Number 4, Stephen Wardby behind number 17 there, Graham Churchill. A few struggles going on, and a bit of pushing along as they come out of 30s. Here's the leaders. And this has the makings of a really great battle. All 4 have pulled away. There's a significant gap now as they come through Westfield, down the hill towards Dingledale Corner. This is the one they're blind to when they come up. On go the brake lights there of Taft's car. Still Churchill going well there. So let's concentrate on this battle for a bit. Churchill doing his pieces, still being pushed, still being pressed. Stephen Wardby doing the pushing and pressuring. That's quite a little high-speed train, that is. And Wardby would love to be through. You see the leaders just ahead of them. They're diving for the inside there, but I think the door was certainly shut. There was bodily contact of another kind, and he's made it. So Wardby has got the inside line. If he can actually get round Paddock Bend, who knows? He does. Uses a little bit of the old circuit. They won't mind that too much. The other man pressuring there is number 34. That's Rick Shortall. Rick Shortall, the tighter line there. Down the hill, into Graham Hill Bend. Ex-single-seater driver. But getting himself pressured quite hard now when it looked as if he might force his way through. and being pressured by Dave Carvel. 33, Dave Luna on the grass, off the grass, takes somebody else with him. This is the headlight camera in Davina's car. She's got a fair bit of traffic to contend with there. Divi trying hard, whoops, trying too hard there almost. She knows Brands well, she'll go well here, but she's not as far up I'm sure she'd like to be. And in this little ruck of traffic here, she's going to have her problems. Headlight camera view of this very, very difficult corner. And Div would very much like to keep the pressure on if she can. Well, here's that battle again. And here's Taft still pressuring, and Pat Watts knows he's there, but so far he has foiled every attempt that he's made to get through. Will he do it this time? Well, Druids could be a place, but he's not really lining up well enough to do it. Rob Hall made that progress up to third. He's got no further. Busy in the office. Mark Hazel looking for the line that isn't there. And perhaps coming out a bit quicker. A nice quick change down coming into Druids. And crossed arms. Up to and beyond. And this is a good battle. Make no mistake about it. Still Taft doing the pressuring. Still Taft trying to find a way. But still being headed off. But look at the way Taft's lined himself up now. Paul Taft really lined himself up for a go there. And there he is on the inside making the line. Beautifully timed. Taft takes the lead, and I'm quite sure that one man who's a bit depressed about that is Pat Watts. Pat Watts is so depressed he's let himself get caught by number 26 there, Rob Hall, who nearly got through, and Andy Ackle is watching it all and hoping that the excitement that's going on will, at least if it takes them out of the game, not take him out. He's having a look at the inside as they come to Surtees. Decides there wasn't a place there. And a nice wide sweep in for Ackley. He'll try to get the inside. Yes, he does. But he hasn't got quite enough grunt there to get alongside Rob Hall as they come out. So Taft in the lead has now got 2-3 cars lengths, perhaps no more. And Pat Watts beginning to perhaps regret that he let that door open. He didn't have much choice, mind you. Taft judged that manoeuvre absolutely superbly. Watts, smooth as always, and keeping the opposition guessing there as to exactly what line he was going to take. Whoops, that was Ackley, who looked for a moment or two to be teetering on the brink of losing the lot, but got it back again. Ackley didn't lose any ground as a result of that, but certainly probably lost a pound or two in sweat. A lot of experience, gathers himself together, carries on as if it never happened. Next little group coming up. And here's Davina again. Right behind and pressuring Russell Grady. Right bang slap in the middle of the road. Loads of space up the inside. But Divi isn't in a position to make any use of it. As you can see, just about a couple of cars lengths. Comes out there very quick. Now she's looking at the inside, but well, that's just what happens when you get a little bit too close there, a little bit of nudging and winking going on, and just nowhere to go. The traffic is causing her innumerable problems trying to force her way past these two cars. They know it, they're not going to help. Russell Grady, Dave Carvel, out there in front. Bang. Div looks, decides to pop back in again. Leaders once more, Paul Taft. Still Pat Watts. Behind him, Rob Hall. And then Andy Ackley. And that was Pat Watts using the old circuit, something we haven't seen him do to that extent before. So the tyres, which he said would play a part in this, probably are doing just that. Big angle of tweak and drift there. You almost saw him sort of flick it, get the tail out as he came out of Graham Hill there. Surtees a bit of a different cup of tea. Almost like a slightly banked corner because you're going uphill, and so it's very, very deceptive. And now along the straight under the bridge. Unleaded fuel, the order of the day, and of course, as far as the Hondas are concerned, normal wear. Rob Hall would like that second place, but doesn't know quite how to get there. Pat Watts, meanwhile, is keeping a close eye on Taft. And Paul Taft, one of the more senior drivers around, let's put it this way, he is old enough to be the father of more than one driver out there. But here he is, exhibiting the sort of control that's seen him over the years be a man to reckon with in saloon cars, and controlling the race now very much from the front. He does not have to drive protectively, nor does he have to be too aggressive. He can now pick his lines, drive smoothly, save the tyres, save the brakes, and in general terms not do anything stupid, or try not to. Rob Hall, meanwhile, has got to give it everything, and in turn Pat Watts has got to be a bit defensive. And Ackley, well, you just hang on in there and hope. He obviously hasn't got the legs of these two. If he had by now, he'd be up and past. Into Surtees, hot work for Pat Watts, the window half down. Fantastic summer has brought fantastic racing. Interesting battle here. Bill Gibson trying to do something about Mark Hazel. Hasn't succeeded, but he's trying. And another shot of the office of the Honda CRX. And that, of course, is Mark Hazel, who's just found himself upped and passed. But he's quicker in there, you'll notice. Having come out of it quicker, there was nowhere to go. I mean, there was nowhere he could get by, alongside or anything like that, and this is the awkward bit of the circuit. As I said, they come completely blind to this. You've got to line it up before you get there. You misjudge it, it's like throwing the old cricket ball. Once it's lost your hand, well, it's lost any guiding force at all. Now a bid. Funny place to do it, but a bid for all that. Got the inside, though. 35, Keith Farrance. Leaders once again. And look now how Pat Watts has dropped back into the clutches of the other two, leaving Mr. Taft to reel off his laps out front there without too many worries. Still the big bid to take away that second place. Still coming to nothing. Dave Loudon. Strangely enough, a quiet, restrained performance from Dave, who's usually right up there. And Mr. Taft. Paul Taft then with a respectable lead. Rob Hall trying oh so hard to oust that second place, and having a look at the outside and see the way Pat Watts thought, yes, I know you're coming, moved quietly over there, and really that was a difficult one. Oh, this is tight. Almost like all in wrestling, this. Can you get through the middle? Yes, I can. Russell Grady. He didn't help much. Actually, when he came in, he was going slower than he intended to. Lost the place there. Dave Carvell back in front. Just about. At least he's got the inside line. And Grady goes wide. They're followed by Rick Shortall, who do absolutely nothing about it at all, but that's neither here nor there. He does go to prove, however, these cars are so handleable, they're so exciting to watch, and they really are quite a favourite with spectators because they are on the limit, they're so evenly matched. And it really does get interesting out there now. Whoops, that's very sideways in. He's lost it. That was inevitable. 29 out. Dave Carvel out of the car. I don't think that was all down to the driver. I think that was Andy Ackley, an excess of zeal, and pays the price of about 100 yards now behind the others. And there's another excess of... Oh, my goodness me, that was a fair bang. Russell Grady and Rick Shortall there. And Shortall's car is the one with a major amount of damage there on the offside. And whoops, he's gone again. Well, all's well that ends well. Didn't take anyone with him, but I think that's his departure from the race. And quite an exciting one too. But that's it for the day. The battle for second. Pat Watts. Right behind him and pressing all the way. Rob Hall. And Watts, out comes the tail. I think Pat Watts there probably was trying a bit of left foot braking. Didn't come off though. Certainly it's noticeable that that car is a little bit more twitchy than it was. And Hall looking for a way, but he hasn't found one yet. Long under the bridge. All in the background there, thinking all the time that there must be a way, but he hasn't found it. Round Westfield. Down towards Dingledale Corner. And this looks like a brave manoeuvre. Well, discretion was the better part of valour there. He straight-lined it a bit. Didn't lose any ground, but didn't gain sufficient to make it worthwhile. A good close look to see if there's a way there. But really by now, if he's going to do anything, he's got to be trying to get himself almost alongside as they come into clear ways. He's not close enough there to be able to do anything very dramatic unless he can manage something really dramatic under braking. In any case, it's too late. All over. Paul Taft wins the race. Pat Watts in second place, Hall in third place, and Ackley a somewhat distant fourth.
I did come to an agreement with Patrick that when we got to the first corner first, we were going to follow just to make it easier for each other. He made a much better start than me, so I followed him. I kept to my words. But we didn't say when we'd actually break rank. But with Rob getting closer and closer to him, I just thought I've got to do something in a minute. So had to just do one of Patrick's manoeuvres.
And then once you were in the lead, you were comfortably able to hold it there?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. It was very hard to keep the concentration going, because after about 10 laps, that's what happens. Your concentration goes, you make a few mistakes and they're on top of you. So, you know, that's what the fitness training is all about, I think, keeping the concentration going.
Paul Taft then, the winner from Pat Watts, Rob Hall third, Ackley fourth, Graham Churchill in fifth place. In Honda Challenge here at Brands Hatch. Not quite such a nice day for the next round of the Honda Championship. In fact, it's raining, a rare sight in Britain during the course of 1989.